Could today's real estate market actually be better today than it was a year ago? Does it? Is it even possible with COVID and staying home and all of the reduction in sales and reduction in inventory? Could it still be better to sell a home today than it was a year ago? Well, we're going to go over that. And I'm actually really excited because there's some great information that you're going to receive today, and you're going to see the actual numbers. So before we get into it, again, my name is George Moorhead with Bagley Properties. I've been practicing for about 27 years. We've done over 2,000 residential and commercial transactions. We monitor the statistics every single week as we're doing our forecasting and projections, not only for ourselves, who will, in the real estate and for our clients and for building, but for builders. So with that, let's just do a little bookkeeping here. Make sure that you give me a big heart, like our channel if you like what you're hearing. If you cannot hear me, please post that right away. And in the meantime, let's find out, what is our market really doing? The key thing is that as we go through the numbers each and every week, as we talk about the pros and the cons every single Saturday, give you a rundown what has been happening, both with interest rates and with the real estate trends. Make sure if you have any questions, hey, fire them off to us, post us, call me, email us. Simple enough. My team will get back to you as quickly as possible. Normally, we get back to you within just 5 minutes to a half an hour. Every once in a while, it's a little bit longer. It just all depends. So it's free. There's no strings attached. If you want a specific report to your neighborhood, let us know. We fire that off. There's no cost. If there's an opportunity to earn your business, that's always awesome, but there's no strings attached. We lead with generosity. That is how we do things. All right. So with that, let's talk a little bit about what happened in April and what happened in April year over year. This time we're going to add what happened in April quarter over quarter, just to give us a little bit broader of a perspective. Now, again, we're only going to talk about residential homes, not pulling in the condos. Again, dealing with the primary focus of the market movement that is out there. With that, we're also going to discuss kind of what's happening and can I support that the market is better today than it was yesterday? And many of you are saying, George, that's impossible. That is utterly impossible. You just hang on. We're going to go through that towards the end of the video here. So first of all, year to date, that means from January 1 to, well, April 30th, May 1. So year to date, our homes that are for sale, active in the market, are down 35.3%. New coming on market, meaning a new listing today, coming on market, a new listing, they're only down 9.9%. Pended are only down 9.9%. Solds are only down 7%. Huh. Well, that's pretty interesting. Year over year, only down 7%. Well, that's not as catastrophic as what CBS was saying. I know I said Como last week. That was a mistake. That's a retraction. I meant to say CBS. CBS had pulled some areas that were inconsistent with our area, but yet they made a big broadcast. We're only down 7%. Now, remember, a year ago, we didn't have COVID. We didn't have the stay at home, and we're only 7% off the mark. That's pretty good. When we look at it quarter over quarter, okay, when we take a look at just specifically a 3-month window, which is February, March, and April. I know it's not the actual quarters, but we're looking at a 3-month window. 3-month window showing us down for sales at 24.1. New on market is down 9.2. Pended are down 10.8. And again, we're only 9.8%. The year over year, last 3 months, or what I'm going to call a quarter, the last quarter, year over year, we're only down 9.8%. Well, that's pretty good considering our inventory and sales and everything else. And everybody's saying, oh my gosh, George, this is horrible. This is so low. The market is tragic. In fact, we get 2 comments when we're chatting with folks when they're asking, following up on the video or asking questions. They're like, George, are real estate values going to just absolutely plummet? No. And I tell them no. Why? Why would they not plummet? We're going to go over that in a minute, but keep that question in mind. The second one is, George, interest rates are going to fall. They're going to dive. We're waiting for just the rates to go down. Yeah, probably not. Our metrics, for the interest rates have actually balanced out. So if you take a look at the Treasury bonds, and which kind of dictate what mortgage interest rates are, if you will see what's called the 200-day running day average. And what you're going to see is back here in like June, okay, you're going to see it start to go up, and then it goes up, and then all of a sudden it does this, and then all of a sudden it starts going up again, okay? And then, of course, you're going to see a red line, which is going to show how the S&P is actually balancing against it, right? In this crazy line that you saw, you might remember back in about mid-March, third week in March, we saw interest rates, hit 2.8%, 4.75, 3.5, 3.375, whatever it might have been. In that 1 week win, it was all over the place. And you can clearly see that. But when you go back further, you can also see that as the bond rates created and we're getting more and more and more value, the interest rates were dropping, and it coincides with last year's market. Because you might remember the first part of the year, we were sluggish. Then interest rates came down because some things were changing in the economy. People were putting money into treasuries and bonds, and all of a sudden the value of the treasury and the bonds going up and the interest rates came down. Just like the video with Dan and myself, we talked about that. Go back and take a look at it. Marie, post that link, make sure people can see that video and how that changes. Now, as the market continues to improve, as people start getting back to work, even though it's going to be more June now, what you're going to see is the people start pulling money out of those secure places that are earning, 0.5%, 1%, probably max. They'll start pulling those funds out and actually getting back into the market. And then that means that the value of those bonds and everything are going to come down. Interest rates are going to come up. So for those of you that are saying, George, I'm waiting for the interest rates to tank and to dive, I don't see that I just don't foresee it. I just don't see it happening. None of what I would consider the real movers and shakers in the lending industry are saying the same thing. Talking to Dan Golden, he totally agrees. No, this is not going to happen. We are actually going to probably start seeing interest rates starting to hedge slightly upwards and an upward tech, really kind of not coming down so much. Juliana at Qualstar, she mirrored that same conversation. So everybody is kind of on the same page there, that those of you that are waiting for the interest rates to just fall out, it's not going to happen. Those of you that are thinking that the Feds control that rate, you got to get rid of that misconception. Look at your 10-year treasuries, look at your bonds, follow that metric, and that will be a great indicator as to when rates are going to start going up and down and so on and so on. All right. So when we take a look at that, 3.375 is par pricing today for your primary residence, meaning the home you're going to live in, versus 4.25 for investments. This is still great money. There's no points. That's a no-cost loan. That's par pricing. So great rates, still a great opportunity to come in and absolutely capitalize on the market. Now, remember I said, is today's market better than it was a year ago? Well, let's just find out. We're going to use the magic whiteboard here. So I threw up some different metrics today because as I was sitting there and I was going over all of the information as we're deriving as to what should we be forecasting, what should we be planning for, I looked at something and I thought, wow, that's really kind of a crazy number. I got to do some math here. So what I did here is I took the Northwest MLS, I took the east side, we've got Seattle, so we're breaking it down into sub areas, South King County, Snohomish County, and then of course Pierce County. So we're going to take a look at those. We're going to take a look at them year over year and what we're doing. And then I want you to tell me, reply back, put up in the post. What do you think is really happening here? So in 2019, these two columns right here, what I did was I took a look at the number of actual homes that were available, right? So when we come back here, we talk about the for sale, okay? And then I take that and I balance that against the what actually sold. So in other words, if I take the number of solds and divide that by the number of actual homes available, it gives me a percentage of the homes that sold, right? So in 2019, 60.3% of the homes sold versus today, you're only at 58.9. Really? Well, that's pretty good. That's from Bellingham all the way down to the Tri-Cities, all the way over to Wenatchee and Chelan. Uh, that's crazy. So what we're saying is, even though the inventory is lower today, even though the pendant sales are lower today, even though the actual sold homes are lower today, we're percentage-wise selling the same number of homes. When we come down to the east side, holy smokes, you actually are selling more. Look at that. 52.8 in 2019, 64.5 in 2020 today. So your opportunity as a seller to have sold your home is greater today than it was last year at this time. Seattle, 73.1 versus 66.5. Huh. Come down here. South King was at 71.9% and it's at 68.8. That's not bad. That's still pretty much target on. Snohomish, 76.3, 72.6. Pierce County, 86.9% versus 76.8. This is the only one that had a big disparity, right? Everywhere else, it shows that we are selling proportionally the same number of homes, and actually more homes are selling today than they did a year ago proportionally. Well, that's pretty cool. Well, wait, it doesn't stop there. Days on market. Well, holy smokes, we're staying at home. We've got less showings going on. We've got less inventory going on. We've got some great interest rates. Market times must be longer. Got to be on the market longer. It must be crazy. You know, it must be like triple digits, right? Nay, nay, nay. Days on market in Northwest MLS today is 27 days average on market. A year ago it was 38. Ready for this one? The east side average days on market are 18 versus 33 days a year ago. In Seattle, 15 days on market average, 24 days a year ago. This is taking the month of April year over year. Okay. Come down here. South King was 18 versus 33, 21 versus 34, 24 versus 33. Straight across the board, homes are staying on market less. They were on market longer a year ago. So, perspective, we're selling proportionally, if not more homes on average, and they're staying on market less. They were on market longer last year than they were this year. And not by a little, by a lot. 10 days, 11 days is a long time. Okay, but let's talk about inventory. We talk about the number of homes. So remember, a healthy market is considered to have 4 to 6 months of inventory. Now, if we have a bucket and all of those real estate agents put their listings in this bucket, we cap it. That's what we say, 4 to 6 months of inventory creates a balanced market between buyers and sellers. Well, if we're only still at 1.7 MLS wide, 1.5 on the east side, 1.4 in Seattle, 1.5 in South King, 1.4 in Snohomish, 1.3 in Pierce County. There is still a shortage of homes, but yet we still have a massive pent-up demand of buyers. You might say, George, how is that possible? Well, guess what? We are still seeing multiple offers. In fact, multiple offers have been on an uptick. That's how part of this changes right here. If you don't think that buyers are out there, we would be in excess of last year's numbers, and instead, we are significantly less than we were last year. So that means that not only are buyers out there, the pent-up demand is still there. our limited inventory is still an issue, we are selling proportionally the same number of homes. That is remarkable. And I thought that was absolutely worth bringing to the forefront for all of those people, because if I was Mr. or Mrs. Seller today, I guess if I had to split personality, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. So if I was Mr. Seller today, I would be saying, if I have a greater chance of selling my house and I'm going to be less time on market and only the true, really super interested people are going to come and take a look at my house, I still have the ability to find another house and still get great interest rates. Oh my gosh, it must be a total seller's market. And that's exactly what it is. The month of April and year to date has maintained a seller's market, which is absolutely incredible. So to answer that question, and you are probably going to say the same thing, is selling your home today having a higher probability of selling your home more so than it was a year ago? And the answer is yes. And don't let me tell you, let the numbers clearly show you what this is. Now, if you want any of these reports to compare these, hey, we'll send them off to you. Our friends at Trend Graphics, they do an awesome job. We go back and forth with information. We pull hardcore, hard information off of the MLS at the end of the month, really technically May 1. And then we take and we make that into, basically information that is digestible for you. And that's what we are giving you each and every week as we monitor these metrics. So if you have any questions, again, post them up in the corner. Let me know what's going on in your mind. If you have any questions, you want a free report, let us know. But if your question is the market slowing down? Should I be sitting on the sideline? The answer is clearly, unequivocally, no. You best be getting off the sideline and start, really taking a look at either making your purchase or looking at putting your home on market, because we have not slowed down. Proportionally, we are moving forward, and we're actually doing better than a year ago, month over month. With that, my name is George Moorhead with Bagley Properties, and would love to hear what else you guys have to say. Remember to like our channel. And for a couple of you guys, like Marius, I see you're on again. Hey, hope the kids are doing great. And one shout out to Linda Bagley, absolutely one of my almost all-time favorite friends and fellow real estate agent. If you are looking for a water front like a boathouse out on Lake Union or a couple of the other places, without a doubt, or if you've even considered it, you need to give Linda a call. We'll post her information up there for you guys. She is awesome sauce, great information, great metrics, just like this. So if you have anything, give her a call. Even if you're just curious about it, give her a call anyway. In the meantime, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.